Welcome to today's event and also to tomorrow as well for those that are attending. The symposium really is about looking at the position of architectural technology for the future. It's been around certainly as a professional institution for 50 years and as we all know, things are changing exponentially. The knowledge that we have today will not be usable tomorrow or the day after that. So we have to think about how we are looking at the future. And we're moving into a world of mass production, again, in building to meet. If we look at the house building programme in Britain, we're probably having to build roughly between 2 and 4 houses a minute to reach that output. So there's going to be massive change in the industry, and the seminar, or sorry, I better not say seminar, symposium, is first of all looking at the education. That's why we're here today. There was a meeting this morning in course leaders from the universities who lead the architectural technology programs, and Norman will be chairing a session on Design Futures Education. So looking at the future, also reflecting on the past and how it informs the future. And then tomorrow will be a very, very different day where we'll have sessions on how we are producing buildings, more about innovative materials and components, testing, off-site manufacture, looking at processes, new communities of practice, new modelling systems, and looking at how this is being applied in practice, looking at different procurement strategies, and lastly, on building performance. So tomorrow will be a very full day, as this day has already been full for some of us, and certainly I'd welcome those who were not here this morning. So without further ado, I shall pass to Norman to introduce this session.
Actually, before I start, does everybody know Sam?
Sorry. Sure. Sorry.
Professor Sam Allwinkle, probably the most important academic architectural technologist, certainly in the UK, possibly in the world. An inspiration. He's been an inspiration for me, and I was really pleased that he gave me the opportunity to say that. Anyway. Who am I and why am I here? This is the education session for this symposium, so welcome. For me, education in architectural technology is fundamental to its development as a discipline, both as an academic discipline and as a professional discipline. So who am I? I'm Norman Wienand. I'm a chartered architectural technologist by background. I'm head of the Department of Natural and Built Environment at Sheffield Hallam University, where I'm also a professor of architectural technology. I came into academia at the turn of the century, so a real, you can tell by my age, that means I must have had a fair old amount of years in practice before coming into academia. And I've seen quite a lot of change during that period. I'm not going to go through all that change, but two things that stood out for me looking at the UK in particular. Firstly has been the development of the subject through the QAA subject benchmark statement. I was very pleased to be a co-author of that process. Again, Sam is the main man who made it all happen, and we were pleased, lucky that he shared that authorship with the rest of us. Firstly, the last but one subject benchmark really introduced the concept of design in a very strong way into the curriculum for architectural technology. And I was particularly pleased that the more recent one now started talking about social responsibility. And to me, when you add those two things together, it really should be underpinning a lot of what we do in terms of how we educate architectural technologists. What's also good about today, I'm not going to speak for too long because we need to get the speakers going, is the fact that we have a truly, I think, international I suppose commitment, but also audience, but also range of speakers delivering today. And I think that's a very important development both for architectural technology in the UK, but also for development internationally. Now, the reason I think that is because I've just had I have a little story to tell you. The couple of weekends ago, I was in Dubai, following a lead that Tara built up in terms of the Dubai government have recognised that the discipline of architectural technology and construction management is lacking in Dubai. And so they were trying to get universities there to look into it more widely. Now for us that's a great development, it's coming from nothing. Why choose architectural technology? Clearly because it's a skill that's recognised. Now what was really weird about that, I went to this university and saw them on the Sunday, and I was due to leave Dubai on the Monday morning. And I was in my hotel on the Sunday afternoon, 5:30, and I noticed it getting very, very dark very quickly. I looked at big black smoke. Right? The building next to the hotel had set alight and was burning down while I sat there watching it. It was quite scary because the wind was blowing the smoke in our direction, and it was that really black, thick stuff that you know is poisonous. You could look out the window and see these gobbets of fire falling down from the building. We were then ushered in, because we were the next door building, there's a petrol station on the other side, and we were ushered down into, we were evacuated into this big hall, right, and we sat there not knowing what was happening. 5 hours later, the fire chief for Dubai came into the hotel just to make us all feel okay. And he said, what's happened here is the cladding system has been responsible for that fire. And when you went and looked at it afterwards, which I did do, you could see that the building, the front facade, there were 3 blocks. The fire had spread horizontally along that front facade, and very little burning into the building. It did go into the building eventually, but the building destroyed. There was no insurance. All the Filipino people who lived there lost all their livelihoods. And so, to me, fundamental question: who specified that cladding system that was so fundamentally flawed in terms of spread of fire and just the toxic smoke that was coming off it? And then that social responsibility of, luckily there were no deaths. Well, how fantastic is that? But the two things, they were asking for technologists, and I saw a fundamental reason why we should have architectural technologists in that environment. Both the social responsibility, safety, all those things, but then getting it right as well. Getting good detailers who understand what they're doing. So that's enough of that. Nice little story.